tell me if this sounds silly, Esther, but can one get addicted to low interest rates?
I don't think it sounds silly. I think it's possible.
Okay.
We've seen low interest rates happening since when? Since after the previous crisis.
Yeah, 2008, 9.
Yeah,
like that.
right. And we wanted to, the US at least, wanted to raise interest rates, and then
This
they did it for a little while, and now we have a pandemic. So we are back in a low interest rate environment,
Yeah.
as we see.
So I know what low interest rates sometimes can mean to businesses, but for the Joe on the street, what does actually having low interest rates mean? Especially if you are not looking at a mortgage or any kind of loan, but what's the impact?
I would think it's still pretty much the same because like a business, when interest rates are low, everybody tends to be, for a long period of time that is, everybody tends to be a bit more welcoming of risk. And if it's prolonged, people tend to take more risk because the rates are low. You don't really have to worry about it. So the risk-taking activity is what actually sort of worries people,
Okay.
or policymakers or economists for that matter, because with comes risk, you are more willing to take risks. You will take on perhaps more debts. You might not look for a mortgage. You might invest in the stock market.
Yeah,
might
which
take
is what's happening now.
Correct. Or something of that sort. So generally, risk-taking activity tends to increase when interest rates are prolonged. So that can be a worry.
Okay, so but in this current environment, realistically, all the economists you spoke to, is there any way to guard against it? It's there, right?
Yeah, so I think this boils down to policymakers. So or the regulators for that matter, at the right time when the economy has already turned and there's showing some signs of strong growth or at least steady growth, then they will have to find the right time to gradually increase the interest rates and not to keep it prolongedly at a lower rate. Yeah.
Okay. Do we think that the rates are going to get any lower?
It depends who you talk to. So some believe that some economists believe that Bank of England might have to lower rates, especially if the pandemic worsens, right? But then there are the other camp which believes that up to a certain point, lowering the rates further wouldn't help anymore. So yeah, some believe this is as low as it gets. At 1.75%, we are already at the lowest in Malaysian history. So yeah, so it really depends on how it goes.
Nobody also wants to guess how long they will keep this low, right?
Some believe, some economists that we have talked to think that somewhere maybe in the second half of next year, they would start to gradually increase rates because they see it as a sign. They see the second half of next year as a turn where the economy will already be steadily picking up for a little while. At least some recovery is there. So they see rates possibly increasing in the second half of next year.
Of course, that's very highly dependent on whether or not the pandemic gets under control.
Right. Yes, that's right. So we see some resurgence, happening now. So that is a worry for everybody and causing some uncertainty in the economy.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.